Hey everybody, okay, so I have something very different, very special for you guys today. It's something I've never really talked about on my channel before, but it is very important, and I felt that there should be a lot of awareness raised to this, and that is domestic abuse. It's brought me here at Dr Ozs Healing Place, Center of Empowerment and Healing. So I just want you to imagine, being in a relationship, feeling that you're supposed to be secure, that this is, supposed to be a safe place, but instead you're living in fear, or you're not feeling, your rights are just not being respected as a human being. I'm just going to go into some quick statistics. Stats Canada said that and this was in 2010, said that about 99,000 Canadians are victims of family abuse, with spouses accounting for half of the abuse. Each year, 40,000 arrests result from domestic violence, and a study against that Stats Canada study found that on any given night, about 33,000 women and their children across the country were sleeping in shelters to escape abuse. That is huge, and that is in Canada alone. I'm joined here by Carla, the administrative assistant and former resident of Dr Ozs Healing Place, who is willing to share a little bit of her story and help shed some light on this topic for us. Thank you for sitting with me, Carla.
It's a pleasure being here.
So tell us, why did you come to the Healing Place?
I came to the Healing Place because I was in an abusive relationship for almost 5 years. I had 2 children, and I was experiencing verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mainly financial abuse. I was being isolated from my friends and my family.
You touched on something that's very, a lot of women often, and I'm glad you touched on it, you mentioned that you weren't physically abused, but a lot of women often think that, oh, well, he's not hitting me, so it's not abuse.
Absolutely, and I felt that way too. And there were many moments when I was in the center, residing in the shelter, thinking, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. And I would see women with cuts and scars and bruises and think, that's not me, I don't belong here. Maybe what I went through wasn't as serious or that. But that's where, the counselors come in and they validate that for you. No, this is not right what you experience. No, it's not right to be put down and constantly put down and verbally abused and have money withheld from you and be isolated, and that's torture within itself. It's not right, and it is abuse.
So let's go back to your story. You were being abused financially, you're being isolated. What gave you the courage to leave?
It was my sister-in-law, so it was my ex-husband, my abuser's sister, that showed me this cycle of abuse. And something clicked in me, and I said, this is never going to end. It's a circle, it's a cycle, it has no end. And an incident happened where my husband lunged at me and had me cornered. And I said, if you hit me, I'm going to call the police. And then he ripped the phone cords out of the walls so I couldn't phone anybody. He ripped the cords out of the internet so I couldn't have any contact with the outside world, and it was very frightening. I tried to leave the apartment. He ripped my jacket and pulled me back in. The children were in the house. I was very frightened, and I plugged the phone back in and tried to call the police, and he called the police and took the phone from me and dialed and told the police that I was crazy and attacking him, and then the police were called, and that was the day I left.
You made it out. What about the women who don't?
Yes, working at Dr Ozs Healing Place, you hear a lot of stories. You see a lot of women that come in, and then for different circumstances they go back into those relationships. In the news 2 years ago, we heard of an ex-client that was murdered. These a lot of cases where women are murdered, they're murdered by people that they know, either their partners or their husbands or their exes. It's a very dangerous situation. It's such a prevalent thing, and it's something that people don't talk about and they keep it secret.
And there's such a stigma, like a social stigma around abuse, where people don't want to talk about it. It's very
no, it's the dark family secret, and even children that tell their counselors at school get chastised by their parents. People don't want to talk about it, and that's part of what Dr Ozs Healing Place does. Is they want to make this an issue that people talk about and are not afraid to talk about.
And that's what I was gonna. My next question was gonna be, how has Dr Ozs Healing Place helped you, and how does it help other women? More about
so, as a resident, when I came, as I said, I did not feel I was being abused just because I wasn't physically abused. Right away, the counselors, they validate that for you. They empower you, they make you feel strong. The first thing that happened was the Children's Aid came to visit me, which happens when the police are called to domestic situations. Right away, my counselor, Cecilia, mentioned Children's Aid's on the way. If you would like, I'm going to sit with you in the room. And that's huge. You feel the strength, you feel the support when they're there with you. They encourage you and help you, and they make sure you get linked up with all the services that you need. With all the clients, they have a primary counselor, and that primary counselor will assess the client's needs and make sure that that client is hooked up with all of the services and agencies and everything that they need, whether it be for immigration, whether it be for court, whether it be for housing. There's a lot of things that happen here in a very small amount of time that clients are here.
And what I also love too, I remember when I first found out about Dr. Ozs Healing Place, is you don't consider it like a shelter.
No.
It's really a center of empowerment, and what the title is, and healing.
Absolutely. Dr. Ozs Healing Place has a holistic model. So we believe in wellness of the whole being. It's not, we have a temporary shelter in this facility, but it's not just that. We have services for ex-residents. Ex-residents can come back and still obtain services for up to 3 years. We have our transitional department that works with women in the community. Women who are preparing to flee their abusive situation, or perhaps they have a safe place to stay, but they still need the services. We have the Vibe Youth program that works with youth. We have an in-house Vibe program, and we also have Vibe programs in the schools and the community. So this really, Dr. Ozs Healing Place is the heart, the center of so many things that happen.
And you used to be a resident.
Yes.
So, but now you are administrative assistant. Tell us a little bit about how that came to happen.
So after leaving the center, after a few years, I started to volunteer here because I really believed in the cause and the center itself. I volunteered here for 8 months, and I gained a lot of experience. And when I say it's a center for empowerment, it's not only for the clients we serve, it's also the volunteers. Being a volunteer, I learned so much. They gave me so much opportunity here to learn, and I just kept learning and learning and learning, and I really gained so much experience that after 8 months, I was offered a position here, working here. So I really feel like I know what it's like to be a client, I know what it's like to be a volunteer, and now I know what it's like to be a staff, and how hard the staff works to maintain and to get funding to help facilitate all these programs that we offer women.
Thank you, Carla, for sharing that with us and taking the time out of your schedule to enlighten us. So I guess this kind of ties into my last question. Let's say if I suspect somebody's being abused, I know like it's the person's choice to do something for themselves. They have to want to seek the help. But is there anything that you would suggest, or any words, I guess, that you can?
It's so hard. It's very hard because I had a lot of friends and family, you know, they saw these red flags and they were like, Carla, I don't think that this is right, or, you know, I would be crying because I had no money or I couldn't pay for things, and it's very difficult. The only thing you can do really is like, that person gave me that cycle of abuse, to talk about it more. So as a friend of a person who you suspect, you know, I would say to hook them up with resources, like the cycle of the abuse, to start a conversation.
Raising awareness.
Raising awareness, the Women's Helpline, I had that in my back pocket for months before I left, so I knew who to phone.
And ultimately the decision is yours. Because like you said, you had it in your back pocket, you didn't use it.
I did.
So you could be a friend on the outside and say, well, you know, well, she doesn't want to leave, but being the support, like being a support system, being patient and just...
Yes, be patient, be a support, have your friend know that you're there for them no matter what. And yeah, I really think that people just need to start a conversation about this. I really do, and I think that people need to get rid of that stigma of this is, you don't talk about it and it's shameful, because it's not shameful. It's not shameful for a woman to be in that situation. It's just a horrible circumstance that they find themselves in. And when they leave, they should not be shamed. They should be celebrated.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a victim. I think that I am a survivor.
Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. You may or may not know I'm hosting the Mommy and Me photo session. All proceeds go to Dr Ozs Healing Place. Please show your support, come out, tell your friends. If you can't, share the video, enlighten somebody. Let's start the conversation. Thanks for watching.